Before we begin our basic caterpillar system, you will need one completely empty character sprite sheet. Either create a new completely transparent 128 by 128 image file or take an existing sprite sheet you own and delete all the character positions and save it as a new file. Once complete, open your Systems Manager and find the hero model. Select the hero's time0 event and add two change variable commands. The first variable should refer to the hero's x-axis position, set it to equal, then choose the object in the map option. Set the selection to hero and the characteristic to x-square position. Repeat this for the second variable you made, but have its name refer to the hero's z-axis position and set the characteristic to the hero's z-square position. Press OK to exit the Systems Manager and place the hero on the map using the Define as Hero option. Create a new object behind your hero and name it Follower, or if you plan on multiple followers, Follower 1. Change its speed to very low and event from hero action to a time0 event. Add a new conditional and set it so that it triggers if the up hero key is being pressed. Within this conditional, add two change variables commands like we did for the hero. However, set these variables so that they store this object's x and z square positions. If you plan on having multiple followers, then you need to name your variables to reflect this. I use F1, F2, and F3 to identify which variables belong to which follower. Under your newly made variables, add a new conditional. Set it so your follower's z variable is less than the hero's z variable. Check the add else when conditions do not apply option. Now copy the conditional we just made and paste it into the else section of our conditional. Change our copied conditional from less than into greater than and uncheck the add else option. Go back to the top half of our conditional and add two move object commands. Set the first to this object, change the movement from square to step, and select the one to south option. Repeat this for the second move object command, but use the one in front option. Copy our two move commands and paste them into the second half of our conditional, under the greater than variable check. You can leave the step to front command as is, but change the step to south into step to north. Be aware every time you bring up the move object window it reverts the movement to square. You'll have to change it back to step manually. Select the entirety of our conditional, copy it and paste it directly underneath. Change both the top and bottom halves of the conditional from checking the follower and hero's z variables into their x variables. Now change the step to south movement into step to east and step to north into step to west. You can leave both step to front commands as is. Select the entire conditional for if up hero is on, copy it and paste it underneath, then change the conditional from if up hero is on into if down hero is on. Now create a new conditional and have it check if the key left hero is on. Copy the change variable commands from anywhere above and paste them into our left hero conditional. Then scroll up slightly and copy the conditional that checks if the follower's x variable is less than the hero's x variable and paste it into our left hero conditional. Repeat this for the conditional that checks both the follower's and hero's z variables and paste it underneath. Finally, copy the whole if left hero conditional and paste it underneath itself and change the conditional from if left hero into if right hero. Set your follower's sprite graphic and test it out. If everything worked out, you should now have a working follower. If you would like more than one follower walking behind you, simply copy your fully made follower and paste them behind themselves. Now alter each change variables command and each conditional you've made that checks if one variable is lesser or greater than another. For example, follower 1 always checks its variables against the heroes. So for follower 2, you need to make it so its variables are being checked against follower 1's, and so forth and so on for as many followers as you want in your game. With that done with, you may have noticed a few things that are off. The first of which is that while your follower walks behind you, they don't walk directly behind you. This seems to be a current limitation of PaperMaker. I'm currently researching other Caterpillar systems with Kevin of 9 from the official PaperMaker Discord, but it will take time and I know many of you wanted something you could use right now. The second thing you may have noticed is that your follower can block your path when attempting to walk back. This is due to how PaperMaker handles collisions. You could technically remove all collisions from your follower's sprites, but doing so renders them unable to walk up the slopes of mountains. To counteract this, open the Collision Manager and locate your follower's sprite. use only one square in the Practicable tab and make it as small as possible. This allows the follower to pass by the player and any additional followers without too much trouble, while also allowing them to follow the player up and down the sides of slopes. In addition to the previously stated problems, you're likely to come across several others. For starters, followers made in one map cannot be teleported into other maps. Doing so will cause your game to crash. Then there's the fact that even though you have a follower behind you, no follower was ever actually added to your party. And finally, even if you were to add a follower to your party, should you switch them around, the change would not be reflected outside of the main menu. This is due to party members being completely independent of followers made on the map. First, there is no current way to affect followers on the map when you change the order of your party around. Instead, I suggest creating checkpoints in your game that allow you to reset and re-add members back into your party. You can then remove the order function from your menu, or leave it be if your follower order and party order not being the same doesn't concern you. To start, open the completed follower we just made and change their graphic into the empty sprite sheet I had you prepare at the start of the video. Now, if you know how many followers your game is going to have, create new change states equal to that number and uncheck the block hero reaction from all of them. Next, assign a unique sprite graphic for each state aside from the first one. I suggest placing them in order of appearance in your game. The earliest party member in state 2 and the last party member you can receive in the last state. Return to your first state and copy all the commands we made and paste them into all the other states. Now repeat the steps we just did for every other follower you've made or will make. For my example, I have 3 followers each with 4 states, with the first state being invisible. Be sure you set collision for the empty sprite sheet or your game will crash after taking a few steps. Now we need a way to add members to our party as well as empty our party should we feel like changing the order. Before that, we need to do some prep work. Open the properties for your map and add a second state to it. Be sure to uncheck the block hero reaction option. Go back to your first state and add a change variables command. Name it party size or something similar and set it equal to 1. Now add a modify team command and leave the default options, but change hero ID into your first follower and a new stock instance variable. Our first follower will be stored in this variable whenever we empty our team. Press OK and repeat this step for as many followers as your game has. Once done, add another modify team command, but this time select the modify option and set it to move our first follower's instance into reserved. Repeat this for all your followers, storing their instances into reserve. Finally, add a change state command and set the map properties to state 2. In our state 2, create a new conditional and have it check if our party size variable is equal to 1. Check the Add Else option and hit OK. Within our conditional, add 3 change state commands. Have each state select one of our follower objects in descending order, then change their state to the first using the replace operation. Add another conditional command in this conditional's else section and have it check if our party size variable is equal to 2. Check the Add Else option, then copy all the change state commands we made previously, excluding the first one, and paste them in this conditional. Add one more conditional command in this conditional else section and repeat what we've done again, only this time we just need the last change state variable. Now create a new conditional and within that create a new variable. This variable will determine what the first follower's place in line is. For now have it check if the follower's variable is equal to 1. Inside our conditional, have it replace follower 1 state with state 2. Copy and paste this condition underneath itself and change the value from 1 to 2. Now change the object ID from follower 1 to follower 2. Repeat this step one more time but the value from 2 to 3 and follower 2 to follower 3. Copy all 3 conditionals we just made and paste them underneath themselves, then change the variables from follower 1 to follower 2. We haven't made this variable yet, so make it now. Change all the change state commands from state 2 into state 3. Repeat this process one final time, only change the variables from follower 2 into a new follower 3 variable. Then the states once again from state 3 into state 4. Now we will create a method to add members to our party or reset our party if we want to change the order. Create an object on the map and set its sprite to anything you like, you can always change it later. Leave the Hero Action event and create a conditional using the Heroes tab. Select the option for at least one hero and check the box next to a team. Select the option are named and use the text option to write the party member's name. Be sure to check the Add Else option and press OK. Add a show text command that asks if we want to reset our team. Underneath that command, add a display choices command with a yes/no selection. Under choice 1, add 3 modify team commands and move all party members into their reserve spots just like we did in the map properties. Under that, add 3 change state commands and set each follower's state back to state 1, the invisible graphic sheet. Add a change variables command and set party size equal to 1, then add all of your follower position variables and set them all equal to 0. Leave choice 2 completely empty. Create another conditional within the else section and have it check if the party size variable is equal to 1. Within the conditional, add a show text command asking if the player wants to add this NPC to the party. Add another display choice command with another yes/no selection. Leave choice 2 blank as usual, but under choice 1 add a modify team command. Select the modify option and move this character's instance ID into the team option. Add a change state command and select our first follower and change its state to the correct character's state. Add 2 change variables commands with the first increasing the party size variable by +1. The second variable will change this character's position variable equal to 1. Copy the entire conditional we just made and paste it under itself. Change the conditional's party size variable from 1 to 2 and the object ID from follower 1 to follower 2. Leave the party size variable the same but change the position variable from 1 to 2. Now repeat everything one final time but change the party size variable from 2 to 3, the object ID from follower 2 to follower 3, and finally the position variable from 2 to 3. If done correctly, when you activate the object the first time you should be able to add your follower to your map and party. Activating it again should then remove them from both your party and the map. You can now copy and paste your object and alter the copies so they function the same way for your other followers. For the top part, all you have to do is change the name used in the conditional. For the bottom part, you need to change the prior party member's name and variables into the next party member. For the last part of this tutorial, copy all the follower objects you made in this map and paste them into the maps your hero teleports into. Then you're going to need to copy all the commands you made in state 2 of this map and paste them into the first state of the map's properties. Make sure all the change state commands you copied link to the right object IDs. If you have previous objects created in other maps, the commands will link to those objects instead of your followers. The most straightforward way to handle this is to always copy/paste your followers into a map before making any additional objects, as object ID numbers are assigned based on when they were created. You can always see what an object's ID is by looking to the right of the text box for the name. If your map has multiple entrances, you can add some commands to your teleporting objects that will allow you to set where your followers' locations will be set to. Open your teleporting object and add a property to it, name it, and set it equal to 0. Create a conditional in the HeroTouch event and change it from variable to our property, then change the sign to equal to 0. Inside the conditional we made add the modify property command. Have it change our property to equals to 1. Add a times 0 event with repeat switch to off and add a conditional. Change the value to our property and set it to equal to 1. Within our conditional, add 3 teleport object commands and set where you want the followers to when the value is equal to 1. Now when we enter this map again, our follower objects will be placed behind the player. I know this was a long tutorial and I appreciate all of your patience. Hopefully now you have the means to add a fully functional caterpillar system into your games. If I come across a better method or forget some details you should know, I'll be sure to make additional videos covering those topics. Thanks for watching until the end.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, or leaving a comment down below. This has been Sid from Digital Container, and I hope to see you next time.